But what if your partner gets mad at you for not buying them a nice gift in return?
See, so like if your partner gave you a nice gift, I'm gonna feel obligated. Like I would feel obligated to get you something nice. Does your spouse know that I'm financially?
What if they do and they still expect a nice gift?
Man, that's a tough one.
Because I've seen that happen.
I have to come clean with them and be like, hey, look, I want to get you that nice gift. Maybe like when I make some money, but right now I can't do it. But I wanted to do this for you instead, like another.
But see, that's a very hard conversation
It
to
is
have.
super hard.
Because most people will kind of suck it up and, just charge on a credit card.
Yeah.
Or try to do a payment plan or something to afford it.
Yeah.
Because it's
the pressure is too great.
Yeah.
Because then you're kind of like, well, I don't want to ruin the relationship.
Welcome to the Magnetic Mismatch Show. This is Linda.
And this is Will. And I hope you guys are having a great day so far.
Yeah. So Will and I took a little stroll earlier just to enjoy the California sun.
Yeah, it's really nice out there.
Yeah.
Beautiful skies, no clouds.
All these lush greens.
Yeah.
I was telling Will that I was putting in a request as a gift that he builds me a flower wall on our balcony.
Why a flower wall?
Because it takes nice photos.
Oh,
and it's good lighting there. We have one downstairs, but it belongs to the apartment.
So there you go. We might as well use that.
No, but I want it here.
Like in the apartment, you're saying?
I want it on the balcony.
Oh, on the balcony. I see.
Yeah. You're not listening.
Cool. Cool.
Expect it next week.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
So speaking of gifts, what's our topic today?
Gifts giving in a relationship. It's interesting.
I'm like sweating already.
I think it's an interesting topic because, sometimes it comes up during my conversations with my friends, my girlfriends especially. Some of them stress over the gift that they're going to give their significant other, especially during the dating phase. And it's funny because, Will and I, we were talking.
Well, we just had our birthdays this year.
Yeah. And we were just talking about our first year of dating and how stressful it was, especially during birthdays and holidays, because we were constantly buying each other gifts to the point where it started becoming very stressful.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like, I think it's pretty common, you want to impress the other person or you want to make them, like, you feel like that's what you're supposed to do, right? Is especially early on in the relationship, you want to buy stuff for the other person to show how much you care about them, Yeah. And let's put it this way, if you don't get them a gift, it's not the smartest thing to do.
Yeah, but then, especially towards
you're going to hear it.
The end of the year when it's Thanksgiving and then Christmas, or for some people it's Hanukkah, and then you
got Valentine's Day
and then birthdays and then
anniversaries.
It's like how many gifts am I supposed to buy?
It's a lot. Well, thank you for noticing that. I feel like guys especially have to deal with that a little bit. We feel more pressure.
That's not true. There's pressure.
I feel more pressure.
Okay, you feel more special pressure because you're not very good at gift giving.
Wow, damn. Is that true? Do you really feel that way?
No, I'm just kidding.
Thank you. I've gotten better.
Yeah, but it's stressful for the girls too.
Yeah.
Because
I know, I'm just
because like when we get an extravagant gift or a gift from you, we feel like from the male counter or the significant other, we feel a pressure to top that gift too, or at least match it.
Yeah, that's true. Because then it's human nature, right? If somebody gets you something nice or a gift, your natural inclination and instinct is I got to get them something too. And if they get you something really nice or whatever, you're probably going to want to get them something of equal value or better.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not better, but well, some people think that
No,
way.
I
Yeah.
think
I
yeah,
want to
and
one up
better.
them
Yeah.
or
It's his face too.
it is. It is.
Yeah. And I think sometimes that creates a lot of stress, right? Because it takes a lot of work to kind of find the person a gift. It could be financial stress.
It could be emotional. It could be just, I don't know. I'm not, like you said, I really, I'm not that great at giving gifts. Not that because of I don't like giving gifts to people. I love giving gifts to people and I love seeing their reaction and seeing them get joy out of it. Right. I get more joy out of giving somebody something than like buying something for myself. But at the same time, like thinking of what to get them so that it feels special and it feels like personalized.
Mhm.
I definitely stress, like, and
Yeah.
I tell you all the time, I always stress about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to get that person? And then I end up procrastinating and, waiting till the last minute to get something for them. And it's a nightmare, especially like you said, during the holidays is the worst.
Yeah. Because it's crowded at the stores,
Hmm.
things are out of stock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially, like you get gifts for your friends, you get gifts for your family. But I think, like, especially in a relationship, there is that pressure. You do not want to screw this up because you're going to hear it from the other person in some cases, or you're going to feel
Or you
like,
feel that way.
yeah,
And
you
then
feel
you
that
don't
way.
necessarily will hear it from the
Agreed.
person.
Right.
And also it's a lot of pressure too, especially when it's a new relationship. Do you get their family a gift as well, right?
Hmm.
Because you want to be on their good side, and you want them to feel like, hey, you care about them.
Sure.
So there's another additional pressure
Yeah.
to get them something nice, but um it could become very stressful, especially financially, because it adds up. These gifts are not cheap.
Some people go into debt or they go bankrupt because like all they do is spend their money on giving gifts to people.
Hmm.
And I think it's important, like if you're going to give a gift to somebody, I think being mindful, thinking of that person's financial situation too, even with dating, right? Like you kind of know a little bit, maybe not early on in the relationship as much, but you kind of know, like if you're doing very financially well, but the other person maybe is just starting up their career or they just graduated college and, they probably don't have much financial means yet. And if you get them a really extravagant gift, the other person might feel a little uncomfortable, right? I mean, wouldn't you feel that way?
Yeah, I mean,
And then what would you want to do?
I
Or
would want to at least match their gift.
yeah,
But do you think it's okay though for someone who's financially well off to buy their significant other a really nice gift?
I think it's fine. If but the caveat it would be that they maybe have had a discussion about it, like, hey, um, maybe we have an agreement that we'll only spend up to a certain amount on the gift for each other. That way the other person has some sort of say in it and that way they can give their input, right? They don't feel like it's a complete shock out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Because if you receive a really expensive gift, I would feel a little uncomfortable too.
yeah.
I mean, I would
And I
really
think
appreciate it,
I think it
but
depends on the person too, and how you kind of set that up,
of
right?
course, yeah,
I think if you're the type that's really, if you have the financial means for it and you enjoy giving nice gifts, and the person you're dating can't afford the same type of luxuries, then before giving the gift, it's kind of good to kind of set the premise up in a way where the other person feels comfortable to accept a gift, and knowing that they don't have to give
to
something
match, yeah,
match, and that
right,
you're just doing it because you enjoy giving,
yeah,
versus not saying anything at all, and then just
right, dropping that on them.
yeah, because it creates stress.
It's a great gesture, right? But it
Yeah, it
might
comes
come
from a
off,
good place.
yeah, it might come off the wrong way to the other person. And like you said, if you don't communicate that, it's like, hey, look, I like giving gifts and, please don't feel obligated to get me something either, right? Or whatever.
Yeah, or you can do something nice for me instead.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what we did too early on in our relationship, right? With gift giving.
Yeah, I'm not sure what prompted the conversation, but I think after the first year, we were kind of
We were
just
burned out.
exhausted from like getting each other gifts.
We did. We
Yeah.
kind of went, yeah.
Yeah. And then we kept upping each other, and then it just became too stressful. And I think by the time we got to the second year of our relationship, we decided that we're going to cool off on these gifts, right? And we kind of picked certain holidays that were or and occasions that were the most important
Yeah.
to us, and we celebrated only those. And
Well, those were the ones that we would give gifts for.
yeah, if we wanted
If
to.
we wanted to, yeah.
And there were limits to these gifts
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I mean, we break the rules once in a while, but we don't do it often.
Uh-huh. Yeah, but at least we set the expectation for each other, that's what we were agreed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been working. So
Yeah, it's been working really well. And as the relationship went on, what we realized is it's not the expensive gifts that, creates a lasting impression. I mean, it's nice, but what I find that I enjoy the most are gifts that entails an experience,
mhm.
like a little trip, a little getaway, family dinners, or,
Yeah.
those are the things I enjoy.
Yeah, well, that's how it's evolved over time for us, right? But as our relationship matured, as we've gotten more serious, and as we've gotten a little older, right? That's kind of our thinking. But I do think that early we did fall into that. I wouldn't say trap, but I would say more like felt like that obligation, to give each other those nice things, and without really, I think, I don't know. Like I remember there were times when, because I was working, right? I was working a full-time job and I was making money and all that stuff, but you were still in college technically, right?
Mhm.
Well, you just finished.
Grad school.
Yeah, in grad school. And so it was harder, I would think, for you to buy something for me from a financial perspective, but you were very creative and resourceful. You actually did like some very nice gifts for me that were more sentimental value, right? Like one of your best gifts that I always remember and I always appreciate was like the photo album that you created for us of some of the moments, special moments that we shared together. I was like, wow, that's so nice and very creative and thoughtful, and you had writing
Yeah.
and stuff in there, so that was cool. And so if you're someone that isn't there financially yet, you know it doesn't mean you have to buy someone else an equally nice gift from a cost standpoint, but you
Yeah.
could do something really romantic, something really thoughtful, something very creative for them. And I think the other person would really appreciate that too.
Yeah, and instead of taking Will and his family out for a steak dinner, I remember bringing over the ingredients
Yeah.
with your sister and
We
making
cooked us a meal.
yeah, and cooked you guys a meal.
I know. You guys totally got me on that one. You surprised us.
Yeah.
Or me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and my family too, because you showed up and
Well,
you
I got
coordinated with my
yeah,
sister.
your sister.
Mhm.
Your sister helped. And I
You
made
guys tricked me.
and I made you guys a dinner instead, instead of spending that money on a steakhouse, right?
Yeah.
And it was fun.
It was really nice. It was a great memory. We took some nice photos and everything. But yeah, that's you can totally get creative. It doesn't have to be this super extravagant thing.
But what if your partner gets mad at you for not buying them a nice gift in return?
See, so like if your partner gave you a nice gift, I'm gonna feel obligated. Like I would feel obligated to get you something nice, but I think if you got mad at me for that, I would have to really have a conversation with you as my partner
Mm-hmm.
and maybe find out like, hey, look, to explain the situation. Like, does your spouse know that I'm financially,
What if they do and they still expect a nice gift from you?
like, let's say I'm not there yet or I haven't started my career and they know that, but they still expect me to buy a super expensive gift.
Yeah.
Man, that's a tough one.
Because I've seen that happen.
Mm-hmm. What do you do, right? I mean, I would, like I said, I have to come clean with them and be like, hey, look, I want to get you that nice gift. Maybe like when I make some money, but right now I can't do it. But I wanted to do this for you instead, like
Yeah.
another
But see, that's a very hard conversation
It
to
is
have
super hard.
because
That's a
most
tough
people
one.
will,
They might snap.
just, or most people will just kind of suck it up and, just charge on a credit card
Yeah.
or try to do a payment plan or something to afford it.
Yeah.
Because it's,
The pressure is too great.
yeah.
Because then you're kind of like, well, I don't want to ruin the relationship. But then at the same time, what does that tell you about the relationship too, or what the value is?
Yeah.
But what if that's really important to the other person? You know, maybe that person, like, for them, giving gifts and receiving gifts is a really, really big deal. Maybe that's their way of feeling loved or something like that.
Hmm. But if you can't meet their standards and it creates so much stress for you
It's
every
better
time.
to.
Yeah, and I think and it kind of carries over to other things too.
So, do you think in that situation, like, if that is the case, you can't meet their expectation and they're upset and that's the way that they feel loved and you can't really fulfill it, would you come clean with them and just tell them like, hey,
Yeah,
would
I
you
mean,
break things off? Would you continue? What would
I'm
you
not the
do?
type that would go into financial stress for anyone, right? Because I'm very financially responsible in that sense, but it's hard because then now I feel like if the person doesn't care enough for my
Financial well-being.
well-being and and my sanity, right? Because
And they demand a nice
yeah,
gift back.
then I don't know if that person is right for me
Yeah, that's
because
true.
it's not just this one time.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
it's going to be like this for the entire duration of the relationship. And I don't know if I could keep negotiating with myself internally to meet their demands. And what
Yeah.
if I don't make money for another couple of years? Do I just keep building financial stress and debt?
Isn't there a saying like or an idiom where it's like keeping up with the Joneses?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like sometimes you feel like you have to constantly live up to a certain expectation or lifestyle, even though that's not really you, right?
Yeah. So I think I would have to really,
Kind of end things there.
yeah,
Ooh.
for me.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? Everybody's going to be a little bit different and
Yeah.
how they approach it.
And some people,
They might accept it.
It's worth it for them,
Yeah.
right? And I think it has to be something you have to decide for yourself at the end of the
Mhm.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's healthy to talk about it too, especially, the first year of relationship. It's good to talk when you're new in the relationship. It's good to bring up gifts, just because.
How do we want to deal with gifts? Right?
Yeah, because it takes off the pressure right off the bat.
There's no
right?
there's no like questions about around it or like ambiguity, right? You're not
Yeah.
really sure. You're kind of assuming, very careful.
Yeah, and especially the first gifts that you give each other, it's like it's a
Yeah.
surprise, right? One person could bring in like a $10,000 gift,
my
and the
God.
other person can bring in like a $10 card.
Right.
Then there's
There's a big disconnect.
yeah, and I think it's good if you're kind of on the same page.
That's why I like with like family gatherings and you do like Secret Santa or you do a white elephant. It's like, all right, everybody, there's a $50 budget or a $20 budget, and everyone has the right expectation because that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
In the beginning of the relationship, especially with gift giving, you have to set the right expectation and everyone needs to know like that they're on the same page. Otherwise, there's going to be miscommunication and differences when it comes to the type of gifts you get and give.
And at the end of the day, it's not, well, at least for me, it's not about the gifts. I think gifts should be genuine. It should be given to me because the person wants to give it to me.
Not because they feel obligated to give it to you.
Yeah, and I think it should be special.
Do you like surprises though? Like surprise gifts and things like that?
I don't really care if it's a surprise or not.
Some people do.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I think these are things you should discuss, right? Before, especially the big holidays, birthdays, anniversaries.
Have it in order.
And it's good to also mention family gifts.
Yeah.
Right?
am I supposed to get a gift for your parents, or
Exactly.
should we, like, for all your siblings?
Yeah.
And
Are they
who,
expecting it?
yeah, are they gonna give gifts, do you think? Right?
Yeah. Those
Just to
are
make sure.
good things to talk about. Because you don't want to bring everyone a gift and then in return,
They weren't prepared, right? They
yeah.
didn't know that, oh, you were planning on giving them a gift. And it kind of makes them look a little off too, right?
Or
Or
if
they
you
feel that
or if
way.
you didn't bring them a gift and they
They
all bought you a
expect it.
gift,
Yeah, it's like,
yeah,
ooh, that's the worst.
that's the
Like,
worst. So
because we've been in situations like that before. Well, at least I know I have, where I didn't bring a gift, but then the other person gave me a gift. I'm like, oh,
I didn't
oops.
expect
Then
that.
I have to get them a gift later, or
Yeah,
I felt obligated to, and I wanted to get them a gift,
yeah,
but I just didn't know,
yeah.
like that's what the expectation was.
So you just lay it out on the table early on.
Yeah.
I think that's very helpful,
Hmm.
and it takes away any surprises.
Yeah. Because otherwise, I think what happens too is, like, I felt, especially in our relationship early on, I started off with some really nice gifts in the beginning. And then I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to get
You
her
have to top
next
it
year?
off, right?
Yeah. It's like this constant, just stressful time. So every time we get close to your birthday or go close to our anniversary, I'm always kind of like, oh my God, what am I going to get? What am I going to get?
Yeah,
I got her this last year. How do I top that? And it's just, you're never going to win. Right. And then so what happened was we had that discussion, right? I think it was, like you said, it was on our second year or something like that. And we started setting like limits and expectations, and just really making sure that we were both on the same page with, what we expected when it came to gifts. Right. But like, I think through that conversation too, that's when we both decided, you know what? It doesn't always have to be a material item. It's like we got more joy from, like, going to a spa, doing a couples spa, right?
yeah,
Or to take a nice little weekender and just enjoy that experience together.
yeah. I think after we defined what we wanted, as far as gifts,
Yeah.
it took off a lot of stress.
So much stress. I felt so much better when you told me that that's totally okay, right? It wasn't like it validated to me that the gift itself wasn't the most important thing, to
Yeah.
you.
No.
It was more like the intent,
Yeah. The
yeah,
thought,
the
the
thought, yeah, the
gesture,
gesture more than
and
anything.
and uh, and at the end of the day, like I said, I enjoy, and I would rather get an experience.
Right. Again, that's for us. That's what's
For us.
important
That's
for us.
important for us, and it took a lot of pressure off knowing that I didn't have to buy you a gift or an experience or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
for any holidays.
Yeah. But for some people, like, if you have that discussion with your partner and they express, hey, you know what? Like, I didn't really get a lot of gifts as a kid. And, as I got older, when I finally had the means to do it, like, this is really important to me. I like it's really important that I give gifts to people, but it's also important that my spouse that I'm in a relationship with gives gifts to me. It doesn't have to be anything big or whatever, but it's an important thing for me. So if your spouse says that to you,
Now you know.
now like, that is an important thing. And hopefully you can try your best to, provide that need as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Right. To an extent, like we said earlier too,
Yeah.
right? Because if they expect $10,000 gifts every time and you're not financially able to do it, and your spouse partner knows that, but they still expect that from you,
Yeah.
then that might be a little bit of a red flag, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. So everybody's going to be different. But, our point is that you got to start with the communication part.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
As
I think that's
uncomfortable.
with everything.
Yeah. That's,
But especially with gift giving, I think this is one of the easier
yeah.
conversations to have. And I think that, once you start dating a person, I think this is a good thing to talk about right before, the holidays or birthdays.
Couples goals. The first holiday is a big deal.
Yeah, just to know what to expect.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it's a good thing for the both of you, right?
Yeah.
If you just define exactly what you expect, then
it's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal.
It's not a big question mark, right?
No.
Yeah. So, okay. Anything else that you can think of with this topic? Because we talked mainly about, for your spouse and
And
gift
then,
giving.
yeah. And then for their family, right? Define that.
Yeah.
To take out any surprises.
Hmm.
This is the conversation I think you should have early on in the
Yeah.
relationship.
Right.
It's one of those things that'll help take off, the pressure of
Yeah.
a new relationship.
Yeah. And finding out too, like how important is it, when to have and get a gift and give a gift for your partner, how important is that to them?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that way it's not like you're not in a situation where, maybe that's really important for your spouse and they gave a gift to you expecting something back and you didn't give it back to them. They might take it as you don't love them or you don't care about them,
Mm-hmm.
when in reality, that's not the case,
Yeah.
but it's simply
Maybe
because.
because it's not important to you.
Correct. Yeah. You have a
Yeah.
difference of opinion when it
Yeah.
comes to gift giving. But it's definitely one of those societal, like, things that unspoken, right? Rule: if someone gets you a gift, you give them a gift. And,
Yeah.
not we tend to not talk about it directly like that. Like just
Yeah.
very bluntly, like figure out. So, all right. Is that it?
Yeah.
Cool. So make sure to subscribe and give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcast. If you enjoyed the episode, we're also on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and all the audio platforms out there.
Yeah. And please make sure to share our episodes, share our podcast, share our Instagram at Magnetic Mismatch. And we release a new episode every Thursday.
Nice job.
And until next time, bye.
Bye, guys.